Tom Selleck, a name synonymous with rugged charm and timeless charisma, continues to captivate the world well into 2025. Behind the iconic mustache and unforgettable roles lies a life that's just as fascinating as his career. From a sprawling estate that echoes both luxury and comfort to a devoted family life with his wife and 2 children, Selleck's world is a blend of classic elegance and quiet strength. Add in his impressive collection of cars and a net worth that reflects decades of success, and you've got a lifestyle that's as rich and enduring as the man himself. Tom Selleck, with his signature mustache and commanding screen presence, has long been a fixture of American television and film. His most iconic role came in the 1980s when he took on the part of Thomas Magnum, the charming private investigator in Magnum, P.I. With its tropical Hawaiian backdrop, vintage Ferrari, and a blend of action and humor, the show became a cultural touchstone. Over 8 seasons and 162 episodes, Selleck didn't just play Magnum, he became him, winning an Emmy and etching his name into the pantheon of TV legends. But Selleck was never content to be boxed into one image. He proved he could carry a film just as easily as a series, headlining hits like 3 Men and a Baby, one of the biggest box office smashes of the 80s. In Quigley Down Under, he went full Western hero, showing his skill with a rifle and his ability to hold the screen against sweeping Australian landscapes. And in Mr. Baseball, he brought his all-American charm to Japan, where culture shock became comedy gold. He became a fan favorite in Friends, playing the debonair Dr. Richard Burke, Monica Geller's older, impossibly suave love interest. Then came The Closer and a string of television films, but it was Blue Bloods that brought him roaring back into the spotlight. As NYPD Police Commissioner Frank Reagan, Selleck brought gravitas, warmth, and quiet authority to a role that anchored the long-running CBS police drama through 14 successful seasons and 275 episodes. With a net worth of $25 million, Tom Selleck's career has been about more than paychecks and popularity. Whether driving a Ferrari down a sun-drenched coastal road or presiding over a tense family dinner in a Manhattan brownstone, Selleck has always made it look easy. Classic, cool, and completely unforgettable. Thomas William Selleck, born on January 29, 1945, in the working-class heart of Detroit, carried a certain old-school American grit with him from the start. But it wasn't Motor City streets where he'd spend his formative years. Instead, the Selleck family packed up and moved west to Sherman Oaks, California, trading snow for sun and setting the stage for what would become one of Hollywood's most enduring careers. Raised alongside 3 siblings, Tom was a grounded, athletic kid who seemed more likely headed for boardrooms or basketball courts than sound stages. After graduating high school in 1962, he stuck close to home, attending Los Angeles Valley College, while living under his parents' roof. But life has a way of surprising even the most pragmatic plans. A basketball scholarship pulled him into the University of Southern California, where he majored in business administration, until a perceptive drama teacher nudged him toward the stage. The moment proved pivotal. It wasn't long before Selleck made a bold move. He dropped out during his senior year, swapped ledgers for scripts, and set his sights on a life in the spotlight. However, just as his ambitions were gaining momentum, duty called. Amid the backdrop of the Vietnam War, Selleck was drafted into military service. He spent 6 years from 1967 to 1973 in the California National Guard, a chapter of his life that instilled the quiet discipline and fortitude that would later define many of his on-screen roles. When he returned to civilian life, Selleck didn't leap straight into stardom. His early career was built on the back of commercial work, where he became a familiar square-jawed figure on American TVs. Whether promoting Coca-Cola, splashing on Chaz Cologne by Revlon, or offering a smile for close-up toothpaste, he was a constant presence in living rooms nationwide. One of his most memorable gigs, donning cowboy boots and a Stetson as the Marlboro Man, an image that would echo throughout his later career. As he transitioned into television and film, small roles began to stack up. but it was his recurring part on The Rockford Files that first gave audiences a glimpse of his acting chops and charisma. Then came The Sackets in 1979, where Selleck played a rugged cowboy, a role that aligned perfectly with his love of the outdoors and lent an authenticity you can't fake. It wasn't just a part, it was a hint of the legend to come. In 1980, Tom Selleck stepped into a role that would etch his name into pop culture history, the charming, mustachioed private investigator Thomas Magnum. Magnum P.I. wasn't just another TV show. It was a phenomenon, drenched in Hawaiian sun, complete with sleek Ferraris, floral shirts, and a lead character whose laid-back bravado and moral compass made him a household name. Shot entirely in Hawaii, the series ran for 8 successful seasons, and by 1984, Selleck's work was rewarded with an Emmy for Outstanding Lead Actor in a Drama Series. Even when Magnum P.I. wrapped, it didn't disappear. It became the most popular syndicated rerun of its time, endlessly replayed, always familiar, always iconic. But Tom Selleck wasn't content to be defined by one role, no matter how legendary. While still deep in Magnum territory, he made time for the big screen, appearing in futuristic thrillers like Runaway and warm-hearted blockbusters like 3 Men and a Baby, which became the top-grossing film of 1987. After Magnum hung up his Detroit Tigers cap, Selleck shifted his focus to cinema full-time, headlining films such as Quigley Down Under, An Innocent Man, In and Out, and The Love Letter, where his trademark charm never faltered. Television, however, kept calling him back. One of his most beloved small-screen returns came in the form of Dr. Richard Burke, Monica's older boyfriend, on the hit sitcom Friends. The guest spot was such a hit that he snagged an Emmy nomination in 2000 for Best Guest Actor in a Comedy Series, proof that the audience hadn't forgotten their favorite private eye. Not every TV venture hit gold. His 1998 attempt to lead the sitcom Closer fizzled out after just 10 episodes. But true to form, Selleck didn't miss a beat. He reinvented himself yet again in the Jesse Stone made-for-TV film series, playing a troubled small-town police chief with a quiet intensity that resonated deeply with audiences. It was a return to grounded, character-driven storytelling, something Selleck had always excelled at. Then came another television triumph, Blue Bloods. Debuting in 2010, the police family drama cast Selleck as New York City's no-nonsense police commissioner Frank Reagan. The role, with its mix of steely leadership and heartfelt moral dilemmas, felt tailor-made for him. Audiences agreed, and Blue Bloods became a staple of Friday night television for over a decade. Along the way, he also made appearances in shows like Boston Legal and Las Vegas, continuing to prove his enduring versatility. In 2021, Selleck tipped his hat to fans of Friends by appearing in HBO's Friends, The Reunion, reminding the world of the effortless chemistry he brought to the show. That same year, he lent his voice to history as the narrator of the Discovery Plus series, Out Where the West Begins, a fitting project for a man whose career has often mirrored the grit and heart of the American West. And just when you thought Tom Selleck couldn't surprise you anymore, he made his album debut in 2021. Teaming up with jazz vocalist Nicholas King, he sang Yes Sir, That's My Baby on King's Act I album. A charming addition to an already multifaceted career, the duet offered yet another glimpse at the man behind the mustache, one who continues to evolve, entertain, and defy expectations with every passing decade. Mansion in Hawaii. In the early 1990s, at the height of his fame and following the success of Magnum P.I., Tom Selleck made a move that spoke to both his love of privacy and his deep connection to Hawaii, the place that had become almost a second home thanks to the iconic series. In 1993, he quietly purchased a property on the islands, retreating from the spotlight into a slice of paradise with his wife and daughter. The exact purchase price remains a mystery, but what Selleck created there was anything but ordinary. This Hawaiian home wasn't just a luxury getaway, it was a personalized retreat shaped by the man himself. Selleck didn't just live in the house, he transformed it. He added a private movie theater, a cozy screening space tucked within the cottage that became an essential part of his routine. After long filming days under the Hawaiian sun, he and his Magnum PI co-stars would gather there to watch the dailies, laughing, analyzing, and winding down away from the set. It was more than entertainment. It was a tradition and part of what gave the home its soul. But Selleck's renovations weren't just about comfort or Hollywood flair. They included an element of intrigue. One of the most unique features of the property was a concrete safe room, complete with a formidable bank vault door. Whether it was built for security, privacy, or simply as a personal quirk, it added a layer of mystery to the otherwise tropical charm of the home. It felt like something out of a crime drama, fitting perhaps for a man who'd spent years playing a private investigator on TV. Set against the lush backdrop of Hawaii's natural beauty, the property blended, understated, luxury with island tranquility. It was a home designed for rest, reflection, and family life far from the glare of Hollywood. Selleck stayed there for nearly a decade, living quietly, grounded by the land and its rhythms, until he eventually sold the estate in 2001 for $2.48 million. Though he eventually moved on, the house remains a testament to a unique chapter in Tom Selleck's life, a time when he wasn't just the face of primetime television, but a father, a husband, and a man building a private life amid palm trees, sunsets, and a home that told 1,000 stories behind its doors. Tucked away in the rolling hills of Ventura County, California, lies a private oasis where Hollywood icon Tom Selleck has quietly lived out a chapter of his life far removed from the glare of cameras and red carpets. In 1988, at the height of his Magnum PI fame, Selleck invested $5 million in a 65-acre ranch, a decision that wasn't just about luxury, but also about finding balance. While most stars might opt for ocean views or high-rise penthouses, Selleck wanted open skies, dirt under his nails, and the calming rhythm of ranch life. The ranch, with its sprawling acreage and scenic views, is both a working farm and a lavish retreat. At its heart is a comfortable yet refined main residence, likely filled with rustic charm and personal touches. Though Selleck is known to value his privacy, glimpses of the lifestyle he's carved out suggest a home designed for both solitude and gathering. Wood beams, warm tones, and expansive windows likely frame the natural beauty of the property, while outdoor living areas blur the line between house and land. But this is no ordinary country spread. The estate boasts its own heliport, ideal for quick arrivals or dramatic Hollywood exits. Multiple swimming pools shimmer beneath the California sun, and a tennis court offers recreation amidst nature. There's even a private golf course woven into the landscape, a subtle nod to Selleck's love for the game and an indulgence that few ranches can claim. Despite these luxury trappings, what sets Selleck's ranch apart is how he uses it. This isn't just a set piece, it's his sanctuary. He's spoken about the real physical labor he puts into maintaining the land. From tending to the avocado groves to overseeing daily ranch tasks, Selleck finds purpose in the simplicity of the work. He said that farm labor keeps him grounded, offering a kind of therapy and rhythm that Hollywood can't provide. However, that connection to the land once landed him in hot water, literally. In 2015, during California's worst drought in recorded history, Selleck was accused of improperly transporting approximately 1.4 million gallons of water from a public hydrant to his property. The Coleguas Municipal Water District filed a lawsuit, and while Selleck never admitted wrongdoing, he settled the dispute by covering the district's private investigator costs, amounting to $21,685.50. The episode added a touch of controversy. to an otherwise quietly maintained property, but also reminded the public of just how personally involved Selleck is in managing the estate. Touring the ranch, one would likely be struck by the harmony between luxury and simplicity. Horse trails wind through the hills, avocado trees stretch in neat rows, and the sounds of nature replace the constant buzz of city life. The home itself, though no architectural showpiece in magazines, would be a warm, inviting space filled with lived-in charm. Photos of family, leather chairs worn smooth with time, and a fireplace always ready for a slow evening in. Away from the flashing cameras and Hawaiian shirts, Selleck's garage is a sanctuary of automotive history, where vintage grit meets timeless elegance. His car collection is less about speed and flash, and more about soul. Each vehicle carefully, chosen not for trend, but for story, heritage, and character. One glance at his 1953 Dodge Power Wagon, and you instantly understand his reverence for rugged Americana. Built originally for military use, this post-war icon is not just a truck, it's a piece of rolling history. With its heavy-duty build and no-nonsense design, it's the sort of vehicle that looks just as at home on a ranch as it would crossing the Rockies. For Selleck, who's known for his quiet masculinity and down-to-earth charm, the Power Wagon is a mechanical mirror, tough, reliable, and unapologetically classic. Parked nearby is a brute with battlefield DNA, the 2001 Hummer H1. It's a beast, and it knows it. Originally derived from military Humvees, the H1 is built to conquer, not to coddle. Yet Selleck's version still carries a surprising dose of civility, balancing brute force with understated luxury. Powered by a 6.5-liter turbo diesel V8, it's the kind of vehicle that scoffs at rough terrain and practically dares you to get it dirty. For a man who spent decades playing rugged heroes, the Hummer isn't just a ride, it's an extension of his adventurous spirit. Then there's the 1970 Dodge Challenger, the heart-pounding centerpiece of any muscle car aficionado's dreams. With a long hood, aggressive grille, and the snarl of a V8 waiting to pounce, this is the kind of car that doesn't drive past. You feel it go by. For Selleck, whose very career was built on charisma and presence, the Challenger is a love letter. To 1970s American bravado, it's bold, it's beautiful, and it doesn't apologize for either. Balancing out all that muscle and grit is a gem from the golden era of motoring, the 1967 Ferrari 275 GTB. Italian curves meet mechanical poetry in this V12-powered marvel. A car that doesn't just drive, it dances. Sleek, sculpted, and finished with a kind of artistry only Ferrari can produce, the 275 GTB is elegance on wheels. Its presence in Selleck's collection suggests a deep appreciation not just for horsepower, but for the craft behind it. If the Challenger is a rebel with a cause, the Ferrari is a tuxedo-clad gentleman who speaks fluent speed. But Selleck's appreciation isn't limited to the refined or the muscular. He also embraces vehicles rooted in history. His 1945 Willys MB Jeep is a salute to utility and resilience. Born in wartime, built to last, this Jeep is more than a vehicle. It's a symbol of American perseverance. Restored yet retaining its vintage soul, it's a vehicle that speaks of adventure, duty, and endurance. All themes Selleck has embodied on screen and off. Then there's the 1985 Jeep CJ7, a ride that might as well have been born on the beaches of Oahu, where Magnum PI once roared. With its removable top, iconic round headlights, and open-air spirit, the CJ7 is freedom on four wheels. It's the kind of vehicle that invites dust, salt air, and long stretches of unexplored trail. For Selleck, it bridges the personal and professional, an echo of Magnum's laid-back coolness, yet perfectly suited for the actor's real-life affinity for the outdoors. Tom Selleck's collection isn't about keeping up with automotive fashion or chasing hypercar status symbols. It's about timelessness, storytelling, and respect for legacy. Tom Selleck may be best known for his iconic roles on screen, but beyond the mustache, the badge, and the Hawaiian shirts, he's also carved out a legacy as a deeply committed philanthropist, with a quiet resolve that mirrors the characters he plays. Selleck has spent decades championing causes that hit close to home, never for the spotlight, always for the mission. His dedication to veterans isn't just symbolic, it's personal. Having served in the California Army National Guard during the Vietnam War era, Selleck understands the weight of service. For over 30 years, he's been the national spokesperson for Paralyzed Veterans of America, tirelessly advocating for those who've sustained life-altering spinal cord injuries in the line of duty. Whether through high-profile campaigns or behind-the-scenes support, he's been a steadfast voice reminding America of its responsibility to its wounded warriors. Selleck has also thrown his support behind the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund, lending his voice to efforts that preserve memory and meaning for those lost in war. His advocacy is driven not by obligation, but by a profound sense of respect for sacrifice, for history, and for those too often overlooked after the battles are over. But his philanthropic reach doesn't stop with veterans. Healthcare has been another area where Selleck has made a meaningful mark. He's contributed generously to leading organizations such as the American Cancer Society, the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation, and the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. His donations have helped fuel life-saving research, support patients in the fight of their lives, and raise awareness about diseases that touch millions. It's clear that, for Selleck, giving isn't about headlines. It's about hope. Education has also long been on his radar. A firm believer in leveling the playing field, he's supported the I Have a Dream Foundation, which empowers low-income students to pursue higher education. Selleck has even appeared in public service announcements to help amplify the organization's message and rally support, using his platform to open doors for young minds with big dreams. And then there's his local impact, proof that charity doesn't have to be global to be powerful. In 2024, Selleck served as the keynote speaker at the Salvation Army of Central Oklahoma's Celebration of Hope Gala. The event raised critical funds for everything from emergency shelters to disaster relief and social services for families in crisis. His presence at the event wasn't ceremonial. It was hands-on, heartfelt, and deeply appreciated. Tom Selleck's real life reads like a tapestry woven from Hollywood charm, ranch hand grit, and a deep love for family, faith, and good old-fashioned values. Before he became one of television's most enduring icons, Selleck experienced the highs and lows of love like anyone else. From 1971 to 1982, he was married to model Jacqueline Ray. During their time together, Selleck adopted her son, Kevin Shepard, who would later carve out his own identity as the drummer for the rock band, Tonic. But fate had another chapter waiting. In 1987, while in Britain, Selleck met and married actress Jillie Mack. Their connection, which blossomed far from the lights of Hollywood, led to the birth of their daughter, Hannah, in December 1988. By all accounts, family became the foundation of Selleck's life, grounding him in a career defined by fame but shaped by something deeper. Though he's often portrayed characters with strong religious conviction, like Commissioner Frank Reagan in Blue Bloods, Selleck himself identifies as Episcopalian. And in a nice twist of art meeting life, his Blue Bloods co-star Bridget Moynihan once coached him on how to properly cross himself to stay true to his Catholic character. It's those little moments that show Selleck's dedication to authenticity, both on and off camera. While many Hollywood stars flock to the coast or the hills, Selleck lives a more grounded life just outside Los Angeles in the Hidden Valley region near Thousand Oaks. His home? A sprawling 60-acre avocado ranch once owned by Dean Martin. In a candid interview with People magazine, Selleck described life on the ranch as therapeutic, clearing brush, fixing roads, and sweating in the California sun. For him, it's not just exercise, it's peace of mind. "I work cheaper than anyone I could hire to do it," he joked, ever the self-deprecating rancher with a Hollywood past. Modern technology, though, is not his thing. Selleck has admitted that he doesn't use text messaging or email, opting instead for a more analog, grounded lifestyle, a rarity in a world addicted to screens and scrolls. But don't mistake his off-the-grid tendencies for a lack of energy. Selleck has long been a force in sports. In his younger days, he was a skilled volleyball player, both indoor and on the beach, serving as an outside hitter for the Outrigger Canoe Club in Honolulu. His teammates, even amidst Magnum PI fame, recall him as hard-working and humble. He didn't just show up, he played hard and with heart. Selleck's sports passion doesn't end there. A lifelong baseball fan, he once held a minority ownership stake in his beloved Detroit Tigers. In 1986, while working out with the team, he cracked a batting practice home run, just one of the many baseball dreams he made real. He even trained with the team in spring of '91 to prepare for his role in Mr. Baseball, attending meetings, watching team dynamics, and eventually stepping into an exhibition game against Cincinnati. Though he struck out, he fouled off 3 pitches and earned respect from pros. The prep, he later said, made a world of difference in bringing authenticity to the role. Even among co-stars, Selleck earned admiration not just for his acting chops, but for his character. Larry Manetti, who starred with him on Magnum PI, remembered him as a tireless worker under the brutal Hawaiian sun, a leader who took care of his cast and crew, and a charitable soul who gave back to the community. Beyond the spotlight, Selleck continued to give back in deeply personal ways. In 2009, he became the national spokesperson for the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund's New Education Center, a role that tied into his own experience in the National Guard and his ongoing support for veterans' causes. When fellow actor and close friend James Garner passed away in 2014, Selleck honored him with a tribute filled with both reverence and reflection. "Jim was a mentor to me and a friend," he said, but in classic Garner style, he recalled how the late actor never wanted to be called a mentor. So when Blue Bloods cast members started viewing Selleck that way, he responded with humility. That they feel that way is flattering, although it adds a certain amount of pressure.